Retro lunch break.
Yes.
Retro lunch break with Nick and Rick.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Retro Lunch Break, the podcast. This is the last podcast for the year of 2019. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Joining us always is my co-host Nick.
Hey,
say hi,
how's it
Nick.
going?
And joining us as our additional podcast co-host is Eddie. Please say hi, Eddie.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie. So, all right, I got a story for you guys, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so I recently went on a trip, right? I went to the Canary Islands. And you know, in the Canary Islands, they don't have canaries.
What?
Yeah. And then I also went to Turkey. You know, in Turkey, they don't have turkeys.
They have turkeys. In
No,
Turkey.
they
gotta
don't.
have
No.
turkeys.
There's not a
No.
single turkey in Turkey.
You know, I also went to the Virgin Islands. You know what they don't have there? Turkeys.
Okay, that's true. I believe that one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Me
can you
too.
believe that? Thank you. All right. So opening up with that, Eddie, you look taken aback as if you can't believe I said that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say they don't have virgins.
No,
Because
they don't.
you were sticking to the routine here, you know?
Yes.
See, that's
You got
the
me good.
punchline.
You got me good. You got me good.
See
Yeah.
that?
All right. This is Wingin It episode 3. We are gonna do a wrap up of the year. Anything that we want to talk about, anything we want to bring up about this amazing year that we've had of 2019.
Yeah.
Anything? Anybody want to start off first?
Sure, I'll start off with.
All right, Nick, please. What
I'd like
topic
to-
would you like to talk about?
I would
first?
like to dive into. Let's just do the most obvious one: movies.
movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just dive into some movies here.
Why is that obvious? Now I'm curious.
Because at this time of year, Oscars come up in January, late January,
is
early
it really?
February. Oscar season's here.
I don't follow.
I
that.
don't
We're
follow
wrapping
that,
up
yeah.
the year. Movies are a big thing. People start talking now about who's going to win what? What was your favorite movie?
Is that something you're actually like curious about?
Yeah,
Really?
of course.
I don't. Do you, Eddie? Do you?
No, I don't follow.
Yeah, I don't.
I just
follow
know
it.
what happens because at the
Yeah.
end of the year they always do best movie.
Yeah,
of
best
the
movies, and
year,
it's kind of
best
the one
yeah.
I'd like to start with, just so that because I went through the list of movies, and it wasn't a stellar year for movies, at least for me. There were some good movies and some movies I've yet to see that I'm really excited to see. I'd like to talk about them. Some surprises I had, and then what I felt were the worst movies that I saw this year. And I know this is all my opinion, subjective. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, so
Start us off, man.
Yeah.
I just would like to start off with, I think for me this year, for what I have seen, and I'd like to preface this by saying there are 2 movies that I haven't seen that I really want to see. One of them I will watch today. I didn't get a chance to watch it last night, and then the other one I'll have to wait till it comes on digital because I can't take my kids to see it. One being The Joker, which I'm going to watch today.
Oh yeah.
I heard Joaquin Phoenix is great in that, so my favorite movie of the year is picked before I've seen these 2 movies, which it could change. And then the other one is Dr. Sleep. I really wanted to see Dr. Sleep. I couldn't get a chance to see it in theaters. It's the sequel to The Shining.
Yeah, you're right. I
and
want to see that
I really
as well,
want to see
yeah.
that. So I hear really good things about it. So that could end up as my favorite movie of 2019 in 2020 when I see it.
Okay.
But for me, for this year, the movie that stood out the most for me, and I guess was my favorite, and the one I could rewatch and I enjoyed, was It Chapter 2.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed It Chapter 2.
Really quick.
yeah.
Eddie, have you seen that movie?
I have not seen it yet.
You
I
have
saw
not
seen it?
it chapter 1, but I have not seen the
mean,
second one.
Don't get me wrong, Chapter 1 I like better as a movie, but I still enjoyed Chapter 2. It's much like the television movie that was out, as where the part with the kids was always slightly better than the part with the adults, in my opinion. It was more terrifying, more scary, because there was that innocence. I think I probably talked about this before.
I think
I don't
we
know if I talked
have
about it on the show,
maybe-
but how when you're a kid, things are scarier, so that the movie
Yeah.
not being as terrifying as an adult is because they're adults and the same things don't scare them. They have different experiences in life. At least that's what I took from it. I could be totally wrong and reading into it the wrong way, but at least that's what I felt.
No, I could agree with you. Now, I did only see a small piece of that movie. It was the scene where this is It Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Where they get together at the restaurant.
Yes.
Right, and I could see what you're saying, because as adults, you know, technically these things should not scare them. But I think what you're trying to say, and I agree with you, is that since these things were like deep in fears that they got as kids, it carried through to them
Yes.
as adults. And when they were starting to freak out about meeting together and then going to the restaurant and things were happening to them, it's almost like they were acting like kids again.
Yeah.
And reacting like kids would to this type of fear, not as adults would maybe react to something like this.
Like a perfect example for me, when I was a kid, nothing scared me more than the scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure with Large Marge.
Large Marge, yeah.
And it's the scene where she turns and her face pops out. And as a kid, though, for some reason, I watched tons of horror movies, but that always got to me. That always creeped me out as a kid. Watching that as an adult, it's so cheesy, but it still makes me feel slightly uneasy, but not the way I did as a kid. It didn't terrify me like it did as a kid.
I have to say that I think not graphics, but special effects like that, I think deliver more and could cause more of like that kind of fear than what I saw in It Chapter 2, this recent release. I was actually not happy with the CG work that was in the Chinese restaurant when the little thing started bursting out of the fortune cookies. Thank you.
That was I like that scene.
I didn't like that at all. It all looked too fake. I thought if they went with like a more practical effect, it would have been better.
That's a big discussion though for current cinema: practical effects versus computer.
I understand.
Things.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
understand.
just I prefer practical effects too. Here we go. The running gag now in Winging It is Mandalorian talk. In Mandalorian, Baby Yoda is done as a puppet sometimes. They use an actual puppet, and it looks better as a puppet than it would as a full CG character. Just saying, personally, I prefer...
I can't tell. Do they really? Yeah. There's certain scenes where it's all CGI and then certain scenes where it's just puppet? Yeah. Oh, wow, okay.
I haven't seen it.
I believe or they're using the puppet and doing CGI on top of it in some scenes, but it is a puppet in some scenes, just like Yoda was.
Cool.
So there's a thing for practical effects that I'm big on too, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And the other thing I guess I really liked about it was it had other things that were from the book that weren't in the original television series. So there were other cool parts to it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Now, did they wrap up the movie where there isn't going to be a chapter 3?
Well, there's only 2 parts to it.
That's it?
That's it. The book's done. It's over.
Okay.
It's finished.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, at the end of... Well, no, I was going to ask for a spoiler at the end, but maybe I shouldn't.
No, we can talk off.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to know.
Really quick though, who do you prefer to be the actor of wait, no, don't. Pennywise. Pennywise. Thank you. It's Tim Curry or the actor that does it now, which I'm afraid I don't know.
Skarsgård. Whatever Skarsgård. His last name's Skarsgård. So I thought long and hard about this after watching both movies, and if I had to sit down right now and watch it, say, hey, we're going to watch it, which one do you want to watch? I'm going to pick the new one because it was done not just because of the effects, but just the fact that it was made for movies and it was and it was closer to the book source material than the television show, which the television show is great. Tim Curry was phenomenal as Pennywise, but I like the whole cast of the new version of it, the remake of it, I guess we'll say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the theatrical release version of it. It's a Bill Skarsgård, by the way, should be his name, right?
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to actually actively, not a little behind the scenes here. I'm actively trying to look up things so that we don't randomly say wrong facts or anything like that. So I'm looking it up right now and I'm scanning the page as fast as I can and looking for Pennywise. Who played Pennywise? It's not listed. He's not listed as Pennywise. Is it? Yeah.
Which is really weird and wrong of the internet.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, but you're correct. It's Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård played him. So, a couple more movies I'd like to talk about. My favorite movie of the year that didn't come from this year, but I saw in this year, would have to be Terrafier. I had never watched Terrafier before. Terrafier is about Art the Clown. It's a slasher movie. It's a horror movie. It's a low-budget horror movie. It's called Terrafier, and I really enjoyed it because it gave me hope in the slasher genre, because he is the lovable, psychotic killer that we haven't had really in a while, like the Jason or the Michael Myers. Lovable as in the sense of, as Freddy or Jason would be. No, they're not lovable as, oh, you're so cute, but you could see yourself wanting to see more movies with this killer in it. And if you haven't watched Terrafier, should still be on Netflix. Rick, do not watch it.
Really?
Eddie, please watch it. You're not going to like it. It's a gory slasher film, and it is so fun and silly, but I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job of portraying, like, Art the Clown. He's a clown who's a serial killer who doesn't talk. He has 0 speaking lines in it. He has a horn that he honks occasionally, but it's just done so well at the end of the movie, you're like, cool, I can't wait for a sequel. At least I was.
Sounds creepy, yeah.
Was it very graphic too?
It was very graphic. It has one of the cooler... it has a really cool jack-o'-lantern scene, and it has a really cool death scene that I hadn't really seen done in that level of gore before in a movie.
Okay.
So it was really cool. So that's just it for me for horror, I would say. As much as I liked It Chapter 2, I enjoyed Terrifier, but Terrifier is like 2 or 3 years old. I just never got around to it.
I have one question, and I'm debating whether or not to ask this because I kind of don't want to know. Is this based on a true story?
No.
No. Okay. All right. That makes me feel a little bit better.
So the director made this movie called All Hallows Eve, and it's a bunch of shorts, and Art the Clown is in there, and kind of was like an underground small cult hit, and then he got crowdfunded for Terrifier, and they just recently got crowdfunded for Terrifier 2, which should be out next year. So
wow,
I'm excited for 2020 for Terrifier 2.
Okay.
So yeah. For family movies, Addams Family, hands down, was the best
I didn't see that.
animated movie I saw with my kids this year. We went to the theaters to see Addams Family. It was really good. It felt more like a cartoon based off of the television show than off of the 90s movies. So it was really cool in that sense, and it was just funny, and it was a nice story, and it was good. I watched a lot of kids movies this year, and that was my favorite. That was the one that stood out to me.
Was the ending theme song done by MC Hammer?
No, it wasn't,
No?
because that's from the
I'm not
movie.
interested in that.
But you've got to pray. Pray, you've got to pray. It wasn't that song, it was the Addams Family song. But and then I guess I'll just go over my real quick. Sorry I'm talking so much here. I have 4 movies that kind of surprised me that I wasn't really expecting, not expecting a lot of, or kind of hesitant when I went to see them, and then they were good, in my opinion. And that would be Tolkin. It's a story about J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote the Lord of the Rings books. It's about his life and how he came up with the Lord of the Rings.
It's a documentary?
No,
it's a movie. That came out this year?
It's a drama. Yeah, it came out this year. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie because it was cool to see that kind of stuff. I don't know how accurate it was or anything, but I enjoyed it. At the end of the movie, I was like, that was fun. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Excellent. If you like Godzilla,
Didn't see
that was great.
Eddie and I are both shaking our heads.
It had
we have not seen that.
Mothra. It had kaiju fights. It felt good. It felt like I was a child again watching a Godzilla film for the first time. So that surprised me. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like that movie.
Yeah,
I
like
that movie
one bit.
because I like the books, and it was nice to see an adaptation of the books. And it's a really good PG, young, like 12, 13-year-old horror movie, I guess we'll say. So that was cool.
How did it compare to the book, the movie?
It has
pretty
so.
similar?
It takes 4 or 5 stories from the book and turns them and weaves them into one giant story. So 5 of the individual stories it uses from the book happen here. Okay. So it's pretty cool.
I kind of agree with Rick here. I didn't really enjoy it that much.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
Can I please get your opinion on it, Eddie? Why did you not enjoy it?
I gotta say, I don't know. Maybe the plot wasn't that interesting, and it felt like there were certain things where I was just kind of like unbelievable. Like,
thank you,
come on,
thank you, exactly.
Like, really, that really just happened?
Yes, that was my problem. Is that if I can't believe that's the same thing I had with It, right? With that scene in the Chinese restaurant. If I couldn't believe what was happening, I couldn't get into it.
Okay, but real quick, I do want to say you didn't watch It Chapter 1, so you don't.
I didn't have to. I've seen the TV movies. So you understand how the manipulation that Pennywise can do to people's thoughts and what they see. So it's like, I don't see how you can not believe that, knowing that that is something that he's capable of. And those spider-like crab creatures. No, it's going back. And if you watch the end of the movie, that kind of makes a little more sense. No, you're getting me wrong. You're getting me wrong. It's not what was done. It was how it was done. Oh, okay. It's the same. It's the same problem of CG versus practical. Yes, okay. Is that what was being done in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? None of it was scary or looked scary or even looked like it could be scary. It's a scary movie for kids.
I think that's why
based off
maybe
of
I
a
didn't enjoy it
children's
as
book.
much.
These are children's books we're talking about here.
Yeah, because I was expecting it to be more like the It style.
Yeah, and
but
it's
it
never.
wasn't.
It's not going to be.
Wasn't like
it's,
that.
It's on par with a Goosebumps style movie. Even though
Yeah.
Scary Stories to
Okay,
Tell in the
yeah.
Dark are much better than
Yeah.
Goosebumps. Goosebumps is kind of meh, but. Yeah, so that's what you have to go into it thinking. You can't go into it thinking this is going to be a real horror film. These are going to have deep plots and stories. No, it's a Goosebumps style story.
I think we still could have had more. I think in that movie we could have had more about the situation. Could have been scarier if it was just kind of delivered in a better way. Because it's just even with the first instance of something happening. I'm going to try to explain this without giving away any spoilers. And I think Eddie, you'll agree with me on this because when we did see it, we were kind of saying the same thing. I think we're on the same wavelength. Whereas like the situation that the character was just being placed in, minus the way that it was being presented to you, if it was practical or CG, it just was not believable. Like leading into that, and it's just like. I imagine in the books it could have been better because it could have had more description, but for a movie, they shouldn't have any kind of slack to not allow that, because even then the sequence of what you're being shown should jive together and make you believe that this is the actions that this character is being put in, not just to achieve a cinematic type of view of what you were expected to see or what would be described in the book. It has to be led and believable, and you understand that this character was put into this scary situation for a valid reason. And with the first instance of where you would get something in this movie, again, I'm trying to speak about it without giving away any spoilers, it just didn't seem believable.
You're talking about the Harold part.
Yes, the Scarecrow.
Yeah, Harold the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
I don't know that. So all of this whole movie is based off of 4 to 5 page short stories. That's all they are in the books.
And I bet they're great.
Yeah, they're
I could
great.
imagine
they're
great.
great, but they don't have the level of detail that it is. It is hard. I can imagine it being hard to take that idea and create something that's close enough to the source material, which is very limited. And I thought as a fan of the books, I thought they did a fine job with it.
Okay.
And that's me personally.
Okay.
But I will say you have to think of it also more as like an Are You Afraid of the Dark? The TV show. Do you remember the TV show Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That was a cable show, wasn't it?
Yeah, Are You Afraid of the Dark movie
I didn't-
2020? Please make it happen.
I didn't have access to
So
that.
so
growing
just
up.
all these stories are based around sitting around a campfire and someone telling you a story like, hey, the guy with the hook in his hand, that whole story. So it's basically on verbal word. And
Really
let
quick.
me throw this at you real quick before you go in. It was the 70s, man.
Okay.
The movie was set in the 70s.
Oh.
I just want to
Well, just really quick, I want to get Eddie's. Do you know about this? Have you seen it? Did you watch this? Do you know what this is?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Afraid of the Dark. It sounds familiar. I might have watched
Used
it
to be
as
on
a kid.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I
like,
think I might have seen it.
when
as
I
a
was in
kid.
middle school, so that means you two would have been probably late elementary school.
Oh, I didn't have cable.
You
so I
probably
don't know.
wouldn't have been born
yeah.
yet.
It sounds
Eddie.
familiar.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Yeah, so basically
watching
it was this group of kids called the Midnight Society, and they would go into the forest, and then each week someone would have to tell a story, and to join the Midnight Society you would have to tell a story. So they had this bag of like, I don't know, whatever it was like this powder, and they would sprinkle it on the fire, and then that would be like the transition to get you into the story, and then the person would tell the story. And they were once a week you got some kind of scary story. Some of them were good, some of them weren't scary, but it was,
Okay.
it was good, yeah. It was for like young teens.
Yeah, I definitely watched Goosebumps instead of that.
Yeah, Goosebumps. Yeah.
Oh, you watched the TV series, The Goosebumps?
Yeah, I used to watch it. Yeah.
No, I did not. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Goosebumps books.
No, that's the
never
thing.
thought
I'm
they
not a
were,
big
like,
fan of
entertaining.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I don't see them as either scary nor entertaining, or even like creepy or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's me personally.
Yeah, again, that's my personal opinions as well. Yeah.
And the last surprise of the year for me, I'm just going to put this up here, was
50 Shades of Grey?
no, that was like 3 years ago, man.
No, it wasn't. Like the last one, I think came out maybe.
I don't know.
Was it this
I've
year?
never
Last
seen.
year,
I don't
maybe?
know.
I don't know.
Let
It
me-
wasn't
let me
this
look it
year.
up.
It wasn't this year because I went through a
wasn't?
list of movies this year and there was no
Was it?
50 Shades.
Okay,
for
maybe
you.
it was last year. Okay.
It was Aladdin, Disney's live action Aladdin.
Yeah.
I missed that too.
I
Wow.
went
didn't see
into
that?
I didn't
I
see
went
that,
into that
no.
really worried because Aladdin's such a big movie from my childhood, and
Yes,
I
same
saw this with
here,
my
same
wife
here.
and kids, and it's a huge movie from her childhood, probably her favorite Disney movie all time. And I was really worried, like, how are they going to do this? Robin Williams had just passed away. How is Will Smith going to measure up? And I thought they did a phenomenal job making it familiar but different enough.
Yes.
And letting Will Smith not... They didn't make Will Smith play Robin Williams. They said, Will Smith,
No.
go out there and be
Be
Will
Will Smith.
Smith,
Yes, exactly.
the comedian,
Yeah.
as the genie. And it was just... It was a visually stunning movie. they did a good job with the story, all the additions they made to it, and everything they changed. I left that movie like, wow, I'm really happy with that.
Okay.
In contrast to that, I also watched The Lion King, which was a shot-for-shot remake, minus the really funny scene where Pumbaa does the pig in the grass skirt when he's trying to get the hyenas to come get him. He's like, "You want a juicy pig?" That.
Yeah.
They took that out of the movie, and that would have been the only
no.
saving quality of it. But the Lion King remake was a shot-for-shot, and it was boring, and I knew what was going to happen, and I knew the lines, and I was just like, I don't care for this. So I like that Aladdin changed it just enough.
Okay.
So really quick, you did not see Aladdin.
I did not.
No, I have.
Okay.
I agree with a lot of things that Nick is saying. I went into it worried as well. I came out ecstatically happy about what I saw. I would see it again. Will Smith did a great job being the genie, being a Will Smith genie.
Exactly.
And I think, and if Will Smith ever hear this, you did a fantastic job of bringing your own flavor to this.
I agree 100%
and
with you.
the energy that he brought in, especially the big dance number in the middle where he was introducing Prince Ali, Aladdin's character. God, it was just so good.
It was.
Yeah. And I did not see. And now going on to the next movie, I did not see Lion King. Eddie, did you?
No, I did not. It was a really tough year to go to the movies for me. I think I only went one time to the movies.
A lot of these I saw when they came out on digital.
Okay.
It's difficult for me too. So you're not alone. It's very, very hard for me to go see the movies. And then for anybody that this is your first podcast, both Nick, myself, and Eddie, we are family men. We have children. So it's difficult to go see a movie if they're not
a child's movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Saw a lot of child movies this year.
Which is great.
Saw Ugly Dolls.
Really, that wasn't good.
It wasn't very good.
Oh, I wanted to see that actually.
You should watch it.
Okay, what do you think? I'd like it?
No, I'm just saying. I don't know if you'd like it or not. I can't. It was a movie. That's the best I could describe it as. It was a movie.
Yeah. I'm really hoping next year though, because my son was just too small this year for him to even go to the movies.
Had a new one.
Yeah, he's going to turn 2.
Yeah, that's a
in
little
the beginning
easier.
of next year. Yeah.
There's always the drive-in. I'm telling you, the drive-in's the way to go with little ones.
No.
You're looking at me like you don't know what a drive-in
No,
is.
I went to the drive-in.
We
We took him one time, actually. We had a bad experience.
Oh, sorry.
He was just crying, and he didn't want to stay still in his car seat. And it was just, So we were like, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully next year will be better for you in terms of movies.
Yeah.
But there was something released this year. I'm curious if you did see, was End Game. Did you see End Game in theaters?
I think that's the one we went to go see at the drive-in.
Oh, the drive-in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And actually, it wasn't that great in the drive-in because...
Oh, I thought you were going to say it wasn't that great of a movie. I was like, no, you're right.
Oh, no, at the drive-in because,
Yeah.
I think somebody had their lights on that night
sucks.
and I was having a hard time
that
seeing the
sucks.
movie on the screen. I actually went to the theater and I think I had to go by myself. Or I think I took my daughter to go see it again. And it was actually a lot better in the theater.
Right, yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
What was your favorite movie of the year?
I would have to say it was Joker because that was
Joker,
the one that I last saw. Besides End Game, and I thought that was a phenomenal
Really good?
movie.
Yeah,
It was really good.
I can't wait to
really
see it.
slow, very graphic, but a long movie to the descent of madness from this person. So it was great. It was good. Yeah, and like I was telling Rick, I don't know if this is a movie for me to recommend to him because
But now that
there
you've
was
said
these
that, he's
specific
going
areas,
to watch it, by the way.
these particular scenes where just the intense of the violence got really real.
But if you tell him not to do something, he goes and does
go
it.
and
Just
do it,
remember that. So now he's going to watch the Joker.
Well, I don't know because you told me not to watch this other.
Oh yeah, but Terrifier.
Terrifier.
But that's not because that's just to save you from nightmares. That's the only reason. That's just a courtesy from me.
I have to say that you told me not to see it, and I believe you. But then with the Joker, I know you told me, and I've taken that into consideration. I do believe you. The problem there is that I'm a fan of the DC universe. I like the concept of Batman and Joker and how they're polar opposites about chaos and control. I'm not sure if that's the right.
Not control,
example.
chaos and order.
And order, thank you.
Control wouldn't be it.
No, not control, but yes, chaos and order. I wouldn't say that the Joker is my most favorite Batman villain, but to have this movie adaptation of the Joker, of this villain, and it's, as far as I understand, it's not really put into you're not immediately shown that you're in Gotham. You're not immediately shown that Batman is going to happen, or is going to happen, or is there, or present, or that there's some sort of vigilante out there stopping crime in a way that only he can because the cops can't do it, and so that means that the villains have to step up their game. No, it's more of like as you're describing it, it's more of like a person's descent. If I'm getting your verbatim right, person's descent into madness. And as we've discussed with somebody else too, how it's scary because it comes off more real than something that you would see in the comics. And that, I think, it leads back to that question that I asked you, Nick, was that I asked you if the Terrafier, if it was based on a true story. See how I asked about that? Because I think maybe my curiosity leads me more to see this because it's presented in a more real fashion. And I'm kind of realizing this as I'm discussing it with you two. I still want to see it, but you telling me not to see it because of concern of what I might see and how it may affect me, I do consider. And I still haven't seen it. I don't know if I will.
He will.
You will? You think so?
100%.
I don't know. I don't know. As I said before to you, Eddie, too, that I've seen enough examples and clips of it online that I kind of pieced together a moment that you were trying to tell me about without telling me about.
Okay.
That I've seen that, I pieced together what that could be, and it doesn't seem too bad. But then that's just one scene in Joker's actions, but I imagine seeing the whole movie and seeing the examples of what's happening to him, what's being done to him, and his reactions to it. That probably leads more to like what is concerning you about me watching it. We'll have to come back on that one and see if I do ever get enough courage to see this. Yeah.
What was your favorite movie of the year, Rick?
My favorite movie of the year. Now, it's also very difficult for me to see movies. I have kids, so it's not always often that I can have them go and enjoy it. I don't think my kids themselves can sit down for 2 hours straight and watch something in a dark room. And only if it's something that's like maybe purely animated, that might get their attention. I haven't seen a lot of things that came out recently, like Frozen 2. I know my wife had expressed interest in seeing that one.
I saw that.
You saw that? I didn't see it.
I saw that, yeah.
I did get to see End Game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed End Game. It was a very long movie, but I thought the pacing was good and the character development was good. I have gripes about it too as well. The whole scene where Captain America is explaining how people have to deal with the blip and everything like that. That could be done without.
Oh, you should. If you don't like the whole blip thing, don't watch Far From Home.
I already have.
Oh God, that was so frustrating to watch. The movie I liked Far From Home. Don't get me wrong, Far From Home,
which is again another release from this year.
Yeah, which was a fine movie.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch that one.
I think it would probably be my second favorite Marvel movie behind. Was Spiderverse this year or last year? No, Spiderverse was last year, so maybe Far From Home was this year.
Okay.
No, Spiderverse was this year.
Okay, then Spiderverse was the best.
I saw that. That
Marvel
was good.
movie this year, but Far From Home was cool, except for the fact that anytime there were any inconsistencies, it was just as simple as the blip, and so going forward, it feels like, is this how Marvel's just going to explain everything that doesn't add up by using the word
last year.
The blip? Okay, Spider-Verse was last year.
Was last year? Okay.
That movie was great. That was probably the best animated movie I'd seen in a
saw
bunch of
that
years.
one
So
Favorite? I don't know. Favorite movie? I have to think about this. I gotta say that I did really enjoy Endgame. Aladdin was great. I wonder if I saw anything. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that I saw this year that maybe wasn't released this year, because I'm always trying to catch up. I'm
Yeah.
always
Okay.
constantly trying to catch
That's
up.
that's
on
why,
movies.
because I
Yeah.
wanted to throw Terrifier in there because
What about Toy Story 4? That's this year, right?
That
Yeah,
was-
that was
that
this
was
year.
good.
Did you guys watch
I didn't
that?
get to see
I
that.
saw that.
Okay, I saw that one too, actually.
That was good. It was a good way to finally feel like we have an end to Toy Story.
Yeah, and that brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
That movie.
I mean, it was a good movie. It was a
Yeah.
good Pixar movie.
That was good.
It was solid.
Here's one that I did get to see, thanks to Plane Ride, is a Shazam.
I have
got to
not seen
I have
Shazam.
not seen that
I have
one
not seen
either.
Shazam. Okay, Shazam
hear it's
is
fun.
great.
Yeah.
It is great because it is a really great family movie. And see, that's the thing. And I think maybe you guys can agree or understand is because in Shazam they really built it up about family, and it was totally done in a really believable way about unifying and coming together as family, and that there's something to be said about there's the family that you have that's you're related by blood, but there's the family that you can make by the friends that you choose. And there's I myself, I've experienced that. I live that now. I have a very close friends that I consider family, even though we have no blood relation.
Is he talking about us? I don't think so.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
And this movie totally does it, and it totally does it in a way that is it got to me.
Yeah.
It made me feel wholesome and good and fun, and I was happy at the end of it. There was one part where the main character has to deal with something from his past, and I thought actually it was kind of done in a very good way that wasn't too harsh. It could have been probably closer to reality in terms of execution of like how the two. Again, I'm trying to speak about it without spoilers. It could have been done in a way that it was a bit more believable about how two people may meet in real life. But again, I think it led really well into the character development. I think it was there was no part in that movie that I didn't feel was believable, and I had another thought. And the main character. I was really happy to see the main character doing a feature film. His name,
Chuck. His name is Chuck. No, I don't remember his
Chuck?
name. Levi.
You talk about the young, the
young
child?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
Asher-
talking about the.
Asher Angel, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy who played Shazam.
No, he looks familiar, but I don't actually
Levi
know.
something. He was in this TV show.
Zachary
called-
Levi.
Zachary Levi. See?
Zachary Levi.
Okay.
He was in this TV show called Chuck on Channel 4, where he was like a secret. He got mixed up as a secret agent, but he was a Geek Squad guy, and he became. It was a really weird show. I believe
okay.
that's the premise of the show.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I don't. Remember
Oh, he was
watching
also
it.
Flynn Rider, by the way, from Tangled.
From Tangled?
Yeah, he's the voice of
Really?
Flynn Rider.
No
yeah.
way.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
I didn't
No,
know that.
wait.
Is he?
No. Is it him? Was it him, or am I thinking of the other guy from Scrubs? No, I think it's him. I think it's Zachary Levi.
I'll have to.
They're so similar.
we're not-
I'll
We have to
look
take a
that up.
look.
Yeah.
I'll look that up in a second.
Yeah.
I do want to speak about. I did get the name right. His name is Asher Angel. He's a young actor who I know him from a show from
Disney Channel, right?
Disney Channel, yeah.
The one with the...
The Wizards of
it's,
Waverly Place.
Oh my
The
gosh, it's just-
the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
No, it's not helping me. You're making me forget it right now. It's
Lemonade something.
oh gosh, I have to look it up now. Andi Mack, thank you.
Andi Mack,
Andi
yeah.
Mack.
I was
yeah.
gonna say
Andy
that. I was
Mack.
not gonna say that.
No,
Yeah.
Andi Mack.
You watched that? I
Thank
watched
you.
that. I watched that too, yeah.
My wife and I got into it.
Yeah.
It was a very good show. Did you watch all the way up to like the latest stuff right now?
We stopped because we stopped.
Yeah.
I forgot at what point we stopped, but it was good when we were watching it from the beginning.
yeah.
Yeah,
my
This
wife
is
and I
this
too.
is a really strange thing because I know that my oldest daughter watches
Watches
Andi
it?
Mack.
Mandy
Oh, yeah.
Has
yeah.
watched every episode. I have walked in the room when the show's on. I just can't do Disney teen dramas myself, so I've never shown an interest in it. But it's weird that I know you both have a daughter, but I don't believe you watch this because of your daughter now in this moment. So I'm kind of really confused here. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I watched it because it was it presented. What? No,
Yours isn't as shocking, but Eddie's. I didn't expect that.
What? Mine isn't that shocking. It presented growing up issues and it handled it in a very good way, and it had really great characters, really great character development. Asher Angel, who's been with the show ever since the start, I thought he was a really good actor, and then I saw him in this movie in Shazam. He did a fantastic job.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he did a really great job. I'm so happy to see that he's doing feature films. I hope this leads to like more in his career, if this is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But as him going from Andi Mack, which I thought he did a great job there, going to this feature film, all success to him. I wish him the best. Asher, if you want to come on the show, please do come talk to us, and we can talk more about Shazam, about filming that, because I bet that was a bunch of fun. Because I can only imagine like how they filmed. There's one scene they show in the commercials where he like jumps off the roof of the building and says Shazam, and the lightning bolt comes down and hits him. Like that could have been really cool to film. I imagine.
Okay.
That was on a green screen, and he probably didn't jump that far. And he had a harness on. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, but still, to know what it goes to put yourself. I mean, you got to think about.
But here's the thing: with a lot of people, when you talk to actors about scenes they film, especially in front of green screens, it's not until they see the movie later that they
realize what they're doing.
They realize then, but It's not one of those like at the time when he was filming it. The harness could have been chafing. He could have hated that whole scene at the time.
Interesting. That's interesting to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They don't really...
No, because it's not like because a lot of times the special effects aren't ready, and it's not like they're like, come over here, we're going to play this back for you. This is what it's going to look like. No, they don't see it until it premieres.
So they kind of try
in this day and age. I don't know. Maybe you never know.
No, it seems to be that way still in this day and age.
Really?
Well, all right. I'm inclined to believe you because you've been around that more than I am.
And I do watch a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and a lot of this knowledge too comes from things like Game of Thrones, which is a huge show that ended this year. It's sad, but we're not going to go into Game of Thrones. But they had a lot of CG in that show, obviously with the dragons. So people are on these mechanical bulls in front of green screens, and it's not till the show premieres that they see everything cut together and how it looks.
Really, that's kind of interesting, because you would think that you would want to look
exactly.
at it to make sure, hey, did I do my best?
Yeah, exactly.
Does this actually come out the way that I wanted
That's
to?
what I would be thinking. Yeah,
because that's for the director to decide. And what he has you do takes and takes and takes. That's what acting is. What were you going to say? You had something.
You were correct. That is Zachary
Flynn Rider.
Zachary Levi is the voice of Flynn Rider.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was, and then I started to doubt myself. I don't know why.
Wow.
I would have changed gears here.
I just want to throw out there too, because we brought up Tangled. Mandy Moore is the voice of Rapunzel. Mandy Moore, I love you. Please come on the show.
Yeah, and I am watching This Is Us with Mandy Moore.
Oh,
I love that show.
Yeah.
Me and the wife watch it.
I caught the episode where the husband of her character was killed in the.
Oh no!
Oh, spoilers! Did I just get spoilers?
Yeah.
Is it like that? I don't know much about This Is Us because once again.
Yeah. Because we were waiting to see what happened to him for the longest
time. But like from the beginning of the show, you know he's dead, right? From episode 1, you understand the father's dead, correct?
I don't know.
Or from very early on in the show, you know the father's not there and he's gone because doesn't the show take place?
I only saw that one episode.
Oh,
yeah. I
don't know.
One.
Oh my god! So the show took place current time and in the past, like flashbacks.
Yes,
so
it does.
You know that the dad's not around, so you know something.
Yeah,
right?
but you don't know what's going on in the first season. You'd be like, maybe they're divorced, maybe maybe they're not together, maybe he's just not around.
Yeah.
And then as it goes on and it goes on, you kind of start to say, okay, something happened. Come on, guys, tell us. And then
I've actually heard what happened to him.
Contract issues.
No, not the contract. I mean, in the show, how they wrote him out of the show, like his character, like the scene that. I mean, okay, you've already said it. He dies.
Yeah,
the scene where he dies, the reason why he dies, or at least the initial reason that they gave in the show, and I was like, really? That's what it's going to be for?
Okay, I'm going to say that this episode, I want to say it's like at least 3 years old.
Yeah, it should be fine.
It should be fine. Yeah,
he's going back to rescue a dog, right?
Yeah, it's smoke inhalation.
Yeah,
because he's going to rescue the girl's dog, and that's how he dies. And I'm just like, this show that's built this up for 3-4 years. Yes.
No.
Yes,
rescuing a family dog, a family pet. Yeah,
exactly. Family member.
Yes.
And it's not like he died, because in the fire in the house, he got out.
Okay, see, I didn't know this. Yeah,
and then
so
you think, okay, he makes it. So what actually kills him? Because they still give you that suspense. And then finally, towards the end of the episode, they're in the hospital, and they're he's like with the oxygen. You think he's fine, and then out of nowhere, the doctor just comes out and just tells the wife like,
he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it's just sad. It's such a good show. I love it. Yeah,
Mandy Moore does a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to switch gears?
Yeah,
worst
movies.
Worst
movie you saw this year.
Wow,
I just want to do best and worst of movies, then we'll move on to the fun.
Okay,
what's the worst movie you saw?
A movie I did not enjoy. Gosh, I don't know.
Okay, do you have one, Eddie?
Not really. I mean, if top of my mind, I guess it's going to be that one that we were complaining about. Scary. What is it called?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yes.
I would complain about that. That's the worst movie I've seen because I saw that all the way to the end, and I was upset.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I enjoyed that movie.
There's no reason for you to apologize for it.
Sorry, you have terrible taste. I'm sorry it didn't end like This Is Us or Andi Mack.
I'm sorry, I'm cracking up. over
Andy
here.
Mack, wow. Okay.
I have two movies I'd like to nominate for worst movie of the year.
Let's
in my
hear it.
opinion.
Maybe I'll agree. Maybe I've seen it too.
The remake of Pet Sematary.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was so poorly done, and
I
just
didn't see that either.
oh, it had John Lithgow, and it should have been decent, and I just hated every moment of that movie.
You know what movie I saw?
Oh, it was so poorly done.
Sorry, I just remembered one that I saw. I know I saw this year, and it totally ruined what was being set up. I think for maybe a franchise of it was the sequel to oh my gosh, it's escaping right now. The giant kaiju movie with the robots.
Oh, Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
The third one, or
I
whatever.
didn't see that neither.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
With the guy from Star Wars, with the guy who plays Finn in Star Wars, he played the main. He played the main. What do you call it? Jaeger driver in that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the English guy. The English guy who plays
Star
Finn
Wars.
in Star Wars, and the three new Star Wars
You
movies,
mean
7,
Picard.
8, and
Doesn't he
9.
play Picard? Or not Picard.
I'm talking about the young kid whose dad is the Marine, and he's off and he's like hunting for the kaiju parts in the beginning. You need to, not the kaiju parts, the Jaeger parts.
I don't recall.
You're talking about the guy that plays a stormtrooper, right?
Yeah, the stormtrooper. Yeah,
Like he's trying to get out of the stormtrooper.
stormtrooper. Yeah, who gets the name Finn?
Yeah,
and,
Finn. Okay.
And he's
And
with,
we thought that he
right?
had.
Yeah,
at some point we thought that
he had the force.
powers of
Yeah, he had the force
he was
power, but
training.
no, he just picked up the lightsaber
Yeah.
because it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll go into this offline, but yeah,
I
that
don't
movie
remember.
was garbage. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
that
I forced
released.
that out
I
of
don't
my
think that
mind.
released this year. Thankfully,
No, I don't think so either.
No, but that
I caught
movie
it this
was
year, and yeah, I did not enjoy it. Yeah, I liked the first
Pacific
one a
Rim
lot.
Uprising. I think it was
Yeah,
called.
Uprising. Yeah, the first one was really good, but then like the second one didn't make any sense because it seemed like it set things back that were already established.
Well, the
And-
second one had nothing to do with anyone who did the first one, so there's your
Oh.
problem. It has, it's in the same universe and it's supposed to be a continuation
weird,
story,
yeah.
but the director, the writer, all the actors
Everybody
are all
different?
gone. Actually, I
Really?
think there was one returning actor from the movie. I think the girl who's she was one of the
Oh yeah, she was in the first one, right?
yeah, she was in the first one. She's one of the Jaeger pilots, and
Yeah,
it's the the younger girl who the Marine guy took as her dad or whatever.
I know.
Yeah.
I actually know her from another movie.
Okay.
It was called like Maps and Sounds of Tokyo.
Okay.
It was a really good movie, and she was in it. Yeah, gosh.
But she was not good in this movie, or this movie wasn't good, which however you want to put it.
yeah,
Yeah. And then there was another movie that it was a Netflix movie. It's called In the Tall Grass. It's based in the Conjuring universe, or it's done
no
by the
way.
same people as
Okay.
the Conjuring.
Conjuring,
And
the old which movie? The witchcraft movie?
the movie about the haunted houses and stuff from like
Conjuring?
5-10 years ago. The Conjuring.
And it's got one of the same actors in there, right?
Yes, one of the same
As well?
actors in there.
Yeah.
It's either from the people that made or it's in the universe. I don't know. I just found the movie kind of boring and not well executed and not scary or even suspenseful. There was no time when they were like running through the grass and I was like, oh my god, something's gonna get him. I was just like, just get somewhere already. I don't know. That movie to me
saw
was
it.
Is this
saw
right
the
here with
trailer.
that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
scary nun
Yeah.
lady?
Yeah.
I have not seen anything other than a Robot Chicken
Parody
of
yeah.
this. Yeah.
That's actually really good if you want to get scared.
No.
Conjuring
It's
series.
it's a certain type of horror movie. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not biggest fan of the Conjuring universe,
I
the
am.
Conjuring
I love that
series.
stuff.
That kind of horror
It freaks
isn't
me out.
always for me.
Okay.
But yeah.
So okay, I want to talk about this because did you see the Robot Chicken?
no, I know they did one. I did
Yeah.
not see
Okay.
it.
So it's really funny because it's just really quick where like she's standing right behind the like the dad or something, some guy, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you," and then the guy's like, "Oh, really scared," and he's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And all of a sudden you hear. And the guy's like, "Did you just fart?" And she's like, "No." And then just more farts come afterwards, and it's just yeah. As you can tell, I love the sophisticated comedy.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, please continue.
Yeah,
Nick.
but I will say though, out of those two movies, personally for me, Pet Sematary was by far worse.
you did
than
not
In the
like
Tall
that
Grass.
one. Yeah,
Did not like that
I
one
know
at all.
you did not like that one.
I like the original Pet Sematary. I like Stephen King stuff. I was excited for it. I was like, cool, we're gonna watch it. And I guess I built it up a little too much for myself.
Okay, well, I actually have a question about
Yeah.
the Tall Grass movie. Is the whole movie really in the grass?
Yes. Well, 99% of the movie's in the grass.
That's what I had a hard time grasping. It was like, can I really sit here and watch an entire movie just based in the grass?
I did, and then it was, I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sure you're.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping there's cool things happening in the grass, right? Something has to.
It's this whole tribalistic, it's like tribalistic thing, like pillar in the middle that's like changing people's minds, and it's just, I don't know.
Okay.
It was just frustrating.
Yeah, there was other movies that came out this year, like John Wick.
John Wick 3
came out this year.
Wow,
that
I
was
missed
fun.
That one too.
Which I've only
so
ever
many
seen the
movies I
intro
missed.
of it.
Oh, John Wick 3. Okay, so John Wick 1's the best. John
Okay.
Wick 2 is good. John Wick 3
John Wick 1 is
the
really good.
best.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
John Wick 2 is good. It's not great. John Wick 2 is good, but John Wick 3
haven't
is
seen it.
enjoyable and entertaining. He kills a dude with a horse.
Okay.
I'm just going to let you know.
Look.
He kills a guy
thank you.
with a horse.
Thank
and
you
it's
for
just
bringing
phenomenal.
that up, because there's somebody else that we worked with that also made a comment about that scene. I actually tried to see up until that part. This one time I was trying to watch it, and I was like, oh, here he comes. Here's the thing with the horse, and he goes and does it, and I was like, that's it. No, that's all he does.
Well,
and
because
you guys built this up way
maybe
too
because
much.
we built it up for you, because it was a shock to us, because he goes into the stable in New York. He goes into the stable in New York,
this is
and he
ridiculous
goes.
he uses everything around him to dispatch those who are after him. So how's it surprising that he uses the horse to do it?
Because
It's
he never used a horse before.
Yeah, he never
he
used
had
a horse
killed
before.
people with
That's
knives and
ridiculous.
guns
No.
in his fists.
No.
He killed a dude with a horse.
No, him riding on horseback, bareback horse through the raining. I think it was still raining through the streets of New York. That scene is fantastic. What he did with the horse to dispatch that guy? No, thank you.
That was awesome.
Really?
You
Yeah.
are
I'm gonna have to
you
watch
are a
it. I'm gonna have to
terrible
watch this,
person.
yeah.
Just
I'm
watch
gonna
that
have to
scene.
watch
Just
it.
watch
Okay.
that scene.
Well, I'm going to watch the whole thing.
You should
because
watch
I want to see the whole thing.
You should
I
watch
wanna
the
see
whole movie, because there's this amazing scene before where he builds a gun.
Oh, wow. That is
That's
ridiculous
just
too.
great, yeah.
He built an entire gun for one
Come on,
shot.
it's John Wick, man.
for
Come
one
on.
shot.
For one
He-
shot.
For one
He takes his
shot?
whole time to build a gun,
No.
shoots one guy, and then just drops the gun and just takes off. It's just like, yes,
The
it's so
scene
amazing.
after that was a lot better, because it was a knife fight with
axes and stuff. Yeah,
that scene is way
Okay.
better, because
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, just for things like that, like he took all that time to build a gun to kill one guy.
Ridiculous. No,
ridiculous. The horse, ridiculous. But I enjoyed the ridiculousness of it.
No, there's other parts. Okay, that's what I'm saying, because there's other parts where the ridiculousness is much better than some of the other ones that you guys seem to always praise. Which that's what I don't understand. When he gets rid of the big guy with the book, that was awesome. In the library,
I've seen him kill dudes with books before.
No,
It's just he beats some dude's face in with a book. He crushes his windpipe and beats his face in.
Yeah.
Cool. But this one, he got a dude lined up, smacked the horse's ass, and
No.
head kicked the dude to death. Like, what is such a cool death? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine. We're done.
Yeah.
One last thing. Just Keanu Reeves, please come on the show. We love you.
We can talk about the
We can
horse
talk
scene,
about
because
this.
that was amazing.
Because I know, Keanu Reeves, I know you did every part of
I
that
would
movie.
like to say, though, I don't know if you guys have seen him train
Yes.
at the
shooting ranges.
ranges.
No, I haven't, yeah.
That is amazing, by the way. I just want to say, like,
I know he took
you
the
know,
role very serious.
Yeah,
So that's awesome.
I do
Yes, he did.
appreciate that he did that.
Yes.
That's really cool to see.
Well, I want to say
From
the
an
mo-
actor, yeah.
a movie that I was really excited for, really hoping that would be really good, that I would enjoy, that I really was enjoying until the end of it, was the movie Us.
Yeah, you complain about that one a lot.
I
and
do.
You constantly do the
I
voice, and
do.
you keep on saying how I don't understand it because I've
Yeah.
never seen the movie.
Oh, I did watch that one.
Yeah.
That's the one with
why I have to talk to you like this. It was just like, why does she speak like this? And
And you did that, and the first thing
Yeah.
the first thing I thought when you started doing that, I was like, why are you doing an Albert voice from the old Macintosh computers that can talk?
oh yeah,
It's the
yeah.
Albert voice, yeah.
I don't know. That movie was such a cool suspense horror movie that was leading up, and it was like, this is a really cool idea. And then they gave the big reveal at the end, the plot twist, I guess. And I felt it was completely unnecessary for me.
Is it an M. Night movie?
No, it's what you call it, a Peel.
It's like, I just remember Key and Peele, but it's the
Yeah.
one of those two.
It's Peel.
I forgot.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Peele?
Isn't it? Oh no. Is it Key?
Yeah, didn't he do Get
It's
Out?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan
Yes, it
Peele.
is Jordan
Jordan
Peele
Peele.
who does it. Yeah.
Didn't you Get Out earlier this year?
He
It was
did
like- it was
Get Out.
really,
That
really
was
good.
last year.
Oh, was that last year?
That was last year. This one's different than Get Out, because
It
Get Out's
is, it
about
is.
Get Out's more about a social construct, I guess we'll say. Not really a social construct, but so Get Out's kind of about just like racism, kind of. We'll put it that way, lightly put it that way, because that's not really what the whole movie's about, but that's kind of the idea. It's kind of like, hey, racism. This movie's just basically trying to be a really good suspense horror film, and they have you up until a point. At least me.
You really think so?
A lot of people really like the movie, and that's fine. The end to me
it was a bit confusing, actually, for me, as I was kind of like watching, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
I just don't know that end, that twist at the end, where it was like, here's the big twist.
Okay.
And I just was kind of like, I could have done without that. The twist kind of felt like, to me personally, like, you're spoon feeding me something that I didn't need to make a conclusion about this movie.
See, that's interesting to hear. Now, just to jump things, because I want to reference what you just said, because I'm hearing you say this for the first time, and that's very interesting to hear, because I just heard you complain about another movie that you saw recently where they left a very open ending.
It depends.
Left you with an open end, and you did not like that.
Yes, so I like a movie to complete. I don't like a movie to say to me, that cut off right before the end should happen, I'm not finishing this story. You wrote this story. Yeah. But I also don't want to be spoon-fed this really weird explanation that was kind of unnecessary, where I had already made that conclusion to myself. If I've already made a conclusion, end the movie. Finish the movie. The movie does have an ending, but in the very ending, there's this part of us where it's just like, and here's the twist the whole time, ha ha ha, and it's like, it just wasn't necessary. It didn't make the movie more scary, more entertaining, more suspenseful. Nothing. It was pointless to me, and that's the problem I had.
You didn't think it was necessary?
I didn't.
No.
I didn't
did you already had figured it out?
To a degree.
To a degree, you
to a degree, yeah. It was just kind of like they could have just left it how it was, and it would have been fine.
Okay, because I thought it was an interesting twist at the end, because I guess I didn't, catch on. I didn't figure it out. I was more shocked, like, oh, okay, this makes sense now.
Yeah. It was a really,
and
cool
I actually had
concept,
to go. I had to go back actually, because I was kind of telling you, like, to me when I first started watching the movie, I'm just like, what's really going on? This is a little bit confusing. Mm-hmm. So I actually ended up, after watching the movie, going into YouTube to kind of hear people's reviews and explaining what was going on and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, this all makes even more sense now with additional feedback and stuff like that.
Did they give details about the movie that wasn't in the movie, or they just
no? They're just pointing out scenes.
They're just pointing out certain things, exactly.
Like, because of this, if you look here, you can see this here. So this lets you know that this is happening. Like little subtle hints. He did it's a beautifully directed movie. It's good.
Is this as the way you're explaining this, and I think again we're trying to talk about this without getting spoilers. Do they give clues like they do in? You're making me think of Fight Club.
Yes, things like that, like you should have seen in the background.
You should have noticed these things.
Yes, you should have noticed, or you should have noticed because of this dialogue and then this scene that happened 4 scenes later.
Yeah.
You should have picked up that this means that this could have happened.
Yeah, That's what you're making me think of. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and those are probably the things I probably just missed.
Yeah,
so I needed a little bit more.
Yeah.
For me to put it all together.
Because I know, and I can relate to Fight Club, but I did not see those little hints the first time around.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go watch like what is it? The Sixth Sense is the same thing, where there's little clues all over the place, but until you know the end, you can't really go back and then see where you should have picked them out.
See, it's funny that you say that, because then it makes me think I thought this was an M. Night movie.
No, but it does have a little twist at the end, in essence of an M. Night movie.
Yeah, I would just like to say that I think there are some people that watch these movies that can pick up on those type of things. To me, they always get me. The plot twist always gets me. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And like one of my other friends is like, dude, I saw that coming from the beginning. Like, from the beginning.
I tend to do that a lot with television shows and movies, and I need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I'll be watching one, and I'll be watching a show with my wife, and I'll turn to her and I'll make some offhanded comment about the show, and then that will be exactly what happened. And then I've ruined it for myself, and I've ruined it for her at the end because I guessed it right. And I'm just like, I gotta stop doing that.
It's what we do, because you've been around this for a long time. I do it constantly because I overwatch things constantly. It's you learn to see these patterns. You recognize what these patterns are, and in terms of these productions and telling these stories, there's nothing new under the sun. So there's a point that they always try to get to, and that point has probably been done before. And with Nick and myself, we've probably seen an example that leads up to this point probably a dozen times before, so you know the things that lead up to it. Whereas that makes me upset that's why it makes me upset with things like the scary stories to tell in the dark,
that's
because
that's
nothing
for kids.
nothing
That's a
led
kids
up.
movie,
Nothing
though. That's
made
the
sense.
That's the problem I have. You're taking this as a cinematic piece for adults. You have to look at it from a 13-year-old who wouldn't know these things.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying right now that I realize that I can't enjoy the latter or, because it's like I need clues. I get upset if I don't see the clues, and I get upset if I can see the clues. So I just can't enjoy cinema. There you go. All right, I'm sorry, cinema.
I was going to say the show I recently did that too was The Watchman. I did it about an episode and a half before the season finale. I offhandedly said a comment to my wife of, this is what's going to happen in the season finale, and the very last scene is, of course, that's exactly what happens. And I'm just I
actually saw the last like 5 minutes of it. I heard what you said.
Yeah.
I saw like the last 5 minutes of The Watchmen, and
Yeah.
like I was like, that's exactly what Nick said.
and but let's move to why we're really here.
Why are we really here?
Video games.
Video games?
Yeah.
Okay. Video
Yeah.
games. Wow,
Video games because
for
we're reviewing 2019.
2019 video games. To date this episode, an update just came out for Cadence of Hyrule, and I got to say that game was fantastic.
Is that your game of the year? For you?
No. Game of the year is maybe a game that I have no access to, and I don't even know if it came out this year, but it's going to be Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star Online 2.
Okay, that doesn't
'Cause
count.
it
No,
doesn't
but
count.
games you played this
Okay.
year. Of what you played, not of what's out there and what you've read reviews on or watched other people play.
I have to say that it's been the game that I've been looking forward to all year, which I think it has even been teased since last year, which is Pokemon. Pokemon
You
Sword
loving
and
that
Shield.
Pokemon, aren't you?
I am absolutely loving it.
That's
Every
good.
single second I get to play that game, which is only on the show. It makes me happy. It makes me glad that I'm playing such a great title that's obviously been poured in so much attention and detail to, that these people from Game Freak, they're not just shoveling out another game because people know they'll get it because it just has the Pokemon title.
No, they did that with Town.
What?
The Town game that they put out right before. Never mind. That's sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, a hero, my Town Hero or something like that. They put out a game like 3 months before Pokemon. There was this RPG that took place in one town for the Switch, and it was Game Freak's game that wasn't Pokemon, and it felt rushed. Like, we care about Pokemon, not this, and they just shoved it out because they had committed to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The Town. Something Town, I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to give a lot of credit to Pokemon, but I mean, I imagine there's if you give me a second, there's got to be some like smaller titles. We can't just praise the larger companies, but of course they can produce something that's like grand as this because they have the resources. I'll just say the resources to do so. When you have not underground, but smaller companies that can still pump out something that can be beautiful and wonderful. Something that comes to my mind right now is Undertale, which I know is not released this year.
No. Did it come out for the Switch this year? That was even last year.
That was
last year for the
as
Switch,
well,
so
yeah.
we can't even like say, well, it was at least released on one platform this year that you got to play. Yeah.
No, yeah, I actually would if I could afford it.
Stardew Valley is another game that I adore that was done by
a small
a guy.
company.
No,
Wow,
a guy.
one person.
One
Wow,
guy
nice.
originally, yeah.
Oh, wow,
Concerned Ape, I can't remember his real name, but he made the game himself. He is hiring more people now to expand on the game and bring
cool.
it futures, which is cool because that was about 6 months ago. He started hiring a team, but he did the game himself.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I'll go with that.
Okay. What about you?
I don't have a favorite. I
don't?
think I just honestly I just played a lot of Call of Duty.
You
Okay.
play a lot of Call of
It was
Duty.
just
yeah.
a lot of Call
Yeah.
of Duty
That
this
came
year
out
because
this year,
I
right?
wanted to play with my brother. You know, that's
So
that's
that's
the
fine.
game I've been playing.
That's
yeah,
your
just,
favorite
That's a
game
big
this year.
title,
Yeah.
isn't
Call of Duty. Yeah, it's pretty huge, but I'm trying to think what was supposed to be like really huge this year. Was it the
that ninja game? It has some subtitle. I can't
kind of
remember.
feel like
it.
some were like Fallout related, but it was just
Well, I
it
think
just didn't do any good.
No,
The Fallout
76 didn't come
76
out
was
this
last year. That was last year
I
still.
believe,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed
Resident
the
Evil 2
Outer
remake
Worlds.
is a
I
lot of
enjoyed Outer
people's-
Worlds.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy is going to come out next year. They have announced a new Fallout. Not Fallout. They announced a new Bioshock that's going to come
But
out.
that's next
Yeah, that's
year.
all. That's
I'm
all
waiting
future.
for Cyberpunk.
There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
That's what I was excited for when we went to
2040.
E3.
Yeah, you were super hyped for that. You sat in the line
I
to
think
watch
that's what
a
I'm
video.
waiting for. I
Yeah.
think I'm waiting for Cyberpunk to
Was
come
that,
out.
is that supposed to come out this year?
No,
that's still next
Yeah,
year.
it's still
That's
next
still
year.
next
Yeah,
year,
but we
yeah.
went to E3 this year. That was
Yeah.
something we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did just announce the Xbox too. Is that coming out this year? No.
No,
Scarlet-
holidays
Scarlet
2020.
2020.
They finally gave it the name.
Oh, they
the
did?
Xbox Series
The
X.
Series X. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even know what to... Microsoft, if you're listening, what the hell is up with your naming conventions? Like, what is going on?
Well, you know what they're going to do with that kind of naming convention.
To give them defense, our Pokemon series is Wooloo. Everything is named Wooloo. It is difficult to come up with so many names.
I know, but
so
like
many
they went into
characters.
such a weird direction where it's like they could have just tacked numbers onto Xbox at the end and they would have been fine. But no, they had to not be Sony, and now we got Series X and then Series XR and Series XP and PRX and BRC.
It doesn't matter. I'm a Microsoft fanboy.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy them regardless of what they're called.
So
awesome.
then Cyberpunk.
I love that.
that.
By the way, I just want to say real quick, I love that you're the Microsoft fanboy as I'm the Nintendo fanboy. So we at least cover those bases. Could you get on that PlayStation train?
What am I? Yeah, I'm thinking.
Could you get on that PlayStation train so we can cover all the dang bases?
I'm sorry, Sony. There's no love in here for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I am super tempted to try to get Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I guess that doesn't make me really a fanboy if Sony does it.
Sony, no,
I don't
not
think
really.
I'm a fanboy of anything really. I don't
No,
know.
you're not.
I'm not.
You're
yeah.
a master of all. Wait,
No,
you're
jack
a
of all
jack
trades,
of
master of none.
You're a jack of all fans and a fan of none.
Yeah, I'm a fan of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a fan of everything.
I mean, a master fan of none.
But okay. Anything else, Eddie, that you may want to talk about? At least some of the things that you know that I know you're playing now is Outer Worlds, Call of Duty, which is a big title. I mean, that came out this year too.
And I recently started playing Forza Horizon 4.
That's supposed to be really
Yeah, it's
good.
racing game because
Did
it's
you get
available on
Did
Game
you get the
Pass.
Lego expansion? Have you heard about
No,
that?
you got to pay for that.
But have you heard about that? That's what I'd like to do.
You see the advertisements inside the game.
That looks so fun. If I was going to
It
play
does. It
Forza,
does look
I would
good.
be like, Legos,
Yeah.
let's go.
But I really enjoy that series,
Yeah.
actually. And I like the fact
the
that
Forza games are always solid.
they're always fun, yeah.
They're probably the best, in my opinion, they're the best racing games.
out
Like,
there?
realistic racing games, because kart
Okay.
racing's a different genre.
Yeah,
in itself. Yeah.
And then I did get back into Minecraft at some point this year. I remember we played Minecraft for I think a month straight.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Didn't you win a foosball bet with someone and they had to go play, or did you lose that?
No, we won.
You won, and then
and
someone...
they didn't honor the
Oh, they
the
didn't?
agreement, no.
So just real quick, Eddie and some of his friends at work here played a foosball tournament, and the winning team that Eddie was on, the other team had to play Minecraft with them. If you would have lost, you would have had to go play...
We had to give up Minecraft.
You had to give up Minecraft.
Yeah, we weren't
you
allowed
won.
to play Minecraft anymore. Yeah.
You and another coworker
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the team here, you won, and you got to keep your Minecraft, and the other two were supposed to join you, and they never did.
That never happened. Yeah.
Oh, what punks!
That's not cool.
That's
I
not
know.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
not.
That's not cool.
But it's
at
a
all.
great story. I want to talk about my games of the year.
Okay.
My contenders for games of the year are Link's Awakening, the remake. Was beautifully
you
done.
love that
Oh, I
title.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Okay.
That game is great. I'm having a great time playing that game.
I'm having a great time playing it, too.
I'm having an even better time playing it co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good playing it with someone you know. It makes it a little more fun.
This is a lot of fun.
And
Okay.
this game I think will be my game of the year because of how much I enjoy it. It's not a new game. It's 3 years old, but it just came out for the Switch, so it's new to me because I mainly play on Nintendo. It's Dead by Daylight.
Oh, yeah.
I play so much Dead by Daylight. I enjoy that game. It has everything I need. It has horror. It has survival. It has quick time events, and I just really enjoy the game. It's really impressive to see a smaller game studio. Its behavior, they're based in Montreal, come out with such a good living, breathing game because there's always updates for it. They're always bringing new things. They're always trying to balance the game. Is the game perfect? No, but no game is.
Yeah.
But their passion for it and the love they have for the game and what they try and how they listen to the community as much as they can without completely destroying the game is just an amazing thing.
And that's the one that's supposed to be similar to the one that I've played, the Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like one guy,
Just
one
imagine
person controls the bad guy,
killer,
and then the other one's just trying
it's
to survive.
4v1.
Yeah. Okay.
4 survivors versus 1 killer. You're on a map, a set map. There's generators. Your goal as a survivor
Survive and try
is to power all the generators
Okay.
to open the escape hatch and escape the map. The killer.
Okay.
The killer. Your objective is to catch the survivors, put them on hooks. Enough times they get sacrificed to the entity, which is the in-game villain that eats these souls or whatever.
Okay.
I will say though that as you brought up Friday the 13th, I also played Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is fun, but Friday the 13th is probably there's a lot going on the internet now with toxic gamers and toxicity in games.
Okay.
And Friday the 13th
That's
to
been
me,
going on.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it seems more so now with how much more every game has an online mode now. Like,
Yeah.
toxicity. Friday the 13th is the epitome of, like, if you took toxic internet, boiled it in a beaker to a fine, thick paste, and poured it out, that would be Friday the 13th. It's like pure, refined toxicity, that game. It is the most, like, the whole point of that game is just to be an asshole. Sorry for the language, but that is, if you're Jason, is to be an asshole, and if you're a camp counselor, it's just to be an asshole to that Jason and make him hate his life.
Yeah.
And with voice chat, it is terrible. Yeah.
Do you feel that
Yeah.
because of the, I want to say, stale type of gameplay that you get with Friday the 13th lends to this kind of toxicity
To find
environment
entertainment?
compared to Dead by Daylight? Because if you give me a second,
There's toxic people in Dead by Daylight, don't get me wrong.
No,
but,
no.
yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
as you're describing
Yeah.
this to me, it's making me think as if that perhaps this toxic environment is being developed to in Friday the 13th is because you kind of have a stagnant type of situation that you're in. There's who the villain is. It's
Jason.
Jason, thank you.
Yeah.
It's Jason. You know that you're always a camp counselor, right?
Yeah.
Or Jason. Somebody plays as Jason, right?
So it's 9 people get into a room.
Yeah.
8 are counselors. Is it 9? Yeah, I think it's 9. I can't. I would just. Geez, it could be more, but for sure, minimum 9 people. 8 are counselors. 1's Jason, randomly picked each time.
So
you don't know who's going to be Jason until the game starts.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you will, because I don't play these games, but I've seen enough of them. But I mean, I imagine the counselors themselves don't have much variety other than like the items that you pick up, and you have you know who the villain is, and you know the mechanics of what you're going to do. If you're the villain, then you have to go after the camp counselors, and you have your restrictions about how you go after them. And as a camp counselor, you know what you have to do is you pick some sort of method to leave, or as you're
just survive the night.
Just survive the night.
Beat up on Jason or kill Jason. You can actually kill him.
Or foul up other people's
Yes.
attempts to do anything because you have nothing else to do. Whereas I'm asking this now because do you think that Dead by Daylight doesn't have this type of toxic environment because it has much more variety?
They do have a toxic environment.
They have it doesn't have the same kind of toxic environment, or as big as maybe yours you're saying.
Yeah.
But it has much more variety because it has different killers with different abilities and different survivors with different abilities, which forces you to try to mix them up and change your gameplay. And even then, when you enter a match, you don't know necessarily who you're going to battle against and how they play. And it offers more variety. Where do you think that's why that Friday the 13th has a toxic environment because it's too stagnant?
It's a little slower paced than Dead by Daylight. Dead by Day it's a little faster. The gameplay, the matches are a little quicker, and it's just what you have to do is more like you have to always be moving around. Is where Friday the 13th you can go hide for half a match. But I think the biggest problem with Friday the 13th has to be the fact that all the lawsuits that have bogged down the games, the developers haven't been able to work on the game, to update the game, to add new content. So people who love the game are starting to get like, well, what can I do for fun? Well, I'm just going to beat Jason with a bat and teabag him for 10 minutes until he either rage quits or just leaves me alone.
Wow, that's amazing to hear that because of the lack of ability to improve upon a title that's already been released,
But people still play it.
Yeah, people play it, but they're turning into something that's not as it was originally intended.
Yeah.
Whereas I know Dead by Daylight just recently had an update where it added a new survivor, a new new villain.
Yeah.
And it can do this, and it's I don't know. It's interesting to hear that so much attention and perhaps, for lack of a better word, love, because so many people are playing it.
Yeah.
They give it because it's able to. The studio itself is able to update it.
Yes.
Whereas like I'm just it's making me think right now of when we were growing up. You bought a title and you played it
and you got it, and that's
got
all
it,
you
and
got.
that's it. And if it was good or bad, you dealt with it.
Yeah.
You didn't complain with it, and that's I think that leads to a lot of people getting good. Or even then, if you had a title that was maybe easy and it was like or as a title that you got good with, you invented your own ways to make it more difficult.
And that's kind of what people do in Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
people
which
go
is
and
they're doing this. They're making the game more difficult because it's already not challenging for them. So they just make this toxic environment because it gives them entertainment, which is a shame. It's a shame that that's an option.
Yeah,
and that's something that they go to. Yeah.
But I will say I enjoy Dead by Daylight. I will continue to play it as long as I can find matches. So it is just one of those games that it attracts me really well. Or
Okay.
until
And
until a new Monster Hunter.
Is it
comes
pretty
out.
easy to find matches recently? Is there a lot of people playing?
There's yes,
Or is there
and
times where you're just waiting?
there's
and waiting?
times when you're waiting, but there are issues right now with matchmaking that they've talked about
okay.
openly. They're having issues with their servers and matchmaking because the Switch and PC are on dedicated servers now. Before it was P2P, but when they released it for the Switch can't handle P2P, so they started dedicated servers. And dedicated servers also help them track disconnects and just different things, exploits. So it's for them too, for their tracking purposes, on when players disconnect. And there's a new disconnect penalty that they're starting to roll out and they're testing out right now. So because sometimes people will come into a room or they'll go into a match and it'll be a killer that they don't like playing. So they'll disconnect.
Oh, okay.
And then the second person will disconnect. Now you have two people who wanted to play the game and a killer who are all just like, well, this game's not fun because now it's not a fair, balanced game. And so they're starting to penalize people for disconnecting, which I think is completely okay because there's nothing worse than someone who gets knocked down at the beginning of a match and then they disconnect when it's like, you had two more chances and we might have been able to make something of this. But now there's three of us versus one of them. Oh, now there's one on a hook. Now there's two of us versus... So it's just this whole... Yeah, and I get it, but I do enjoy it.
That they have to, develop these methods in order to like corral this type of behavior.
Yes,
where it's even like an option to it. Where it's like it's making me think like back when I first tried to experience Splatoon 2 online. I didn't have the greatest internet connection.
Yeah, how many times did you get banned? Like temp bans? I used to get them all the time on the original Splatoon.
No, I remember like it's very difficult to me to find time to play games. So I remember when the 2 times that I tried playing online, I got disconnected and I saw that warning.
Yeah.
I saw that warning is like you left the game mid-game. Don't do this. If you continue to do so, you're going to get punished. And
You get
it was the
punished.
first
It's
time
like,
I saw that.
Oh yeah, it's like a 5-minute wait for Splatoon, and it was really frustrating because for at least the original Splatoon, I had really bad internet. It was P2P, and most players played in Japan. So I was constantly getting dropped because of my internet service provider, not because of me leaving the game out of anger. And so I would then have to sit around for 5 minutes and wait till it cleared out. So yeah. Just to say, Behavior's doing a great job. I know you can't get a game like this perfect because you're not going to make everyone happy, but they really do try. And it's really cool the things that they do, how they try to balance things to make them fair. And then they come out and they're very open about it. Like, hey, we tried this and we were wrong. Or we tried this and it's not enough. And they'll just tell you beforehand, like when they're going to change things. And a game that I think you'll agree with me on, even though it's not my game of the year, it's an honorable mention for a very, very, very small studio with a very cheap game that came out this year that you and I enjoy a lot. Ding Dong XL was released this year.
What is that?
This year?
That was this year.
No way.
Yes, Ding Dong XL was this year. I looked it up.
Wow.
Yeah. So Ding Dong XL is this game where you can play 1 player, 2 players, and it's basically a ball. It's like Pong where you stick to the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But instead of like trying to score, you're trying not to get hit by the falling things in the middle, and each time you make it across the screen, you score. And there's different things.
Okay.
And
Super
so
simple, so much
super
fun.
simple. You paid what, 49 cents for it or something like that?
I think I got it on sale.
Yeah, I don't even think you paid. You used like gold coins for 49 cents, probably.
don't know.
It was like a free game, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we did an episode on it on our show, and it's just a really fun game. To where when we weren't recording the show at lunch, we were playing Ding Dong XL, trying to get past our high score.
Yeah.
It's such a simple, silly little game, but it's one of those so enjoyable. Like so many hours of enjoyment out of such little amount of money.
Simple, very that game is great.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it gets more intense. Like the things start moving, and and then you have music, and it's
And
just
you can't wait on the one side too long, or you'll die.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
And
you
that time's
gotta
such a short,
move.
so you
gotta
have to
go
move.
across. You
So
gotta
you're
go
forced,
across.
yeah.
Okay.
Or there's this mechanic in it too, where if you skim off the pieces that fly across, like just barely touch them,
Extra points or something?
You get
Like-
extra
like
point,
bonus
yeah.
points?
You
Yeah.
get bonus.
so-
You get bonus crosses. Yeah.
like,
Okay.
it'll encourage you to try to like play that way. But then like if you get too greedy, then you're gonna wind up smashing into something. And
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was a great game.
It's a really fun game.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it for games for me.
That's
I-
in the games.
yeah.
Anything else you want to add in, Eddie?
No, that's pretty much it for me too. Yeah.
Okay, I think at this point we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
This is wow. I don't want to because this is the last one for this year. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna not have more next year. I am looking forward to next year.
Yes, I'm looking forward to next year for what's ahead for not only the podcast but for our channel, for the rest of the channel.
Yeah.
All of our gameplay videos and stuff like that. it's been an exciting. We've been at this for 8 months, I think. We started a little late in the year. Yeah, about 8 months now. We've been going at this, and it's been great. And I can't wait to see where it goes next year. It's grown a lot this year for what we thought it would do, and we appreciate everyone who listens and takes the time to spend with us.
Thank you very much to everybody out there that takes the time to listen to us, to watch what we're doing on the channel. Eddie, you have a channel as well. Would you mind plugging it?
Well, I haven't really done much with my channel. It's just I've had a hard time just trying to put content.
Totally understandable. I've had my own projects that I want to get off the ground too. It's difficult to find time. But hopefully,
I'll just say this project here, this channel that we started this year officially. This is something that I approached Rick here with 5-6 years ago. 6 years ago to do this channel, and just things never lined up and worked out till this year. We finally got it going.
Although I do want to say,
guys.
Thank you very much. Personally, I am happy that it started now. I think I am at a much better headspace now than I was back then when we first started entertaining this idea.
And this is so this is a long growing idea for us. So to see it actually out there and have people watching it and subscribing and commenting
in this day and age, to have content free and available all over the world, anybody anywhere can listen to this and feel the same things that we're feeling, laugh with us, eventually maybe one of this episode cry with us.
Cry with Rick, only Rick.
Cry with me. Yes, thank you. Yes, I will be the only one that will cry. Yeah, sure. And that's fine. I'm proud of it, and it's great. And I hope that everybody out there, that you do listen to us, and that if you think we're doing great, please let us know. If you think we're doing bad, please let us know. Let us know how we can improve the show. Eddie, let me just say thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, I do appreciate this. I know this. I know this started off with a hey, let's do this because of your whole. Let's just do this one-time thing with Eddie because of Final Fantasy VII, and it just worked out so well. It's great having you here. I know we've done one podcast without you, but I could say as much fun as that was, it wasn't the same. It's more fun. I like the dynamic here when you're better. So better when you're here.
Yes. Yeah. I 100% agree, and I hope I hope it continues into next year. Who knows what the next year is going to bring? Hopefully it's all positive. Hopefully it's all good. Hopefully it continues to be the trio here of us. And this is the close of another podcast. And everybody out there, again, I can't thank you enough. Eddie, Nick, again, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for listening to us. Eddie, Nick, please say bye.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy holidays to everyone out there. And thank you both again for just making this happen. It's great. I appreciate everything you two do for this. So,
thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Right.
One last thing, I'm just expecting you to go start saying Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
No, I don't. No. Do I look like a person who would listen to Howard Stern?
I think you would say that. Yeah.
No, I'm not a Howard Stern guy.
Okay. Wow. Thank you very much
for another
everybody.
Not Howard Stern podcast.
Yeah. This is the cast of Retro Lunch Break. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Retro Lunch Break.